Hi, Nick here with MedTech World. With me is Michael Branagan Harris, and we are with Device Access UK. Device Access UK. Things have changed in the UK with Brexit a little bit. There's some chance of accelerated regulatory approval.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, thanks for the invite, Nick. Great to be here today in Malta. Certainly, yeah. So we've realised, as many people have recently, that there has been a big drop-off in particularly US companies coming to the European Union region or to Europe because of easier approvals within the FDA system, and obviously it's a much larger market. So we've seen in the last couple of years a drop-off of interest, which is really disappointing. It's hard for patients to get the new treatments. It's hard for providers of care to benefit from these new treatments that may result in reduced length of stay and greater efficiency. The payers of care, which is, we have a single healthcare payer system, but they don't benefit from newer treatments that they have done in the past. And of course, the companies aren't benefiting from coming into new markets and showing the value that they bring by launching their products in parts outside America, because predominantly most of the technologies we've worked with over the last 14 or almost 14 years have been products that have been from the United States. That's where I think the bulk of the really good stuff comes from. But I've been really impressed with some of the things I've seen today in Malta, some of the products from other countries. So going back to your question, so back on the 15th of March this year, at the time of the budget announcement, the government in the UK announced new schemes to offer rapid, almost near automatic sign-off of technologies approved in other markets, including the United States, Japan and Europe. So what that means is that we are, and they're actively doing this, because I was last week in another conference in the United States with the MHRA, who are the organisation who do regulatory approval and look at the criteria for getting these things approved from a regulatory perspective. They are working really hard to ensure that these programs start next year, which is what the promise was. And they are, they do have a program at the moment called the Innovative Device Accesses Program, and that's set up to help pre-regulatory approved technologies. They're looking for 8 to pilot. Closing date is end of this month, which doesn't give a lot of time, but they're committed to help to bring groundbreaking technologies that will make a difference to patients into our healthcare system and differentiate from what's going on in Europe, where it's become harder to get regulatory approval.
This
Big
is good.
Answer to your question.
Good. This is good news for Device Access Limited in terms of bringing these technologies to the NHS in particular.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking. We're very proud of the work that we've done in the past, and we look forward to the future. I mean, we're very lucky with this new pathway. There are a couple of technologies, completely transformative technologies in the area of cancer, that we're working hard to get through, into the NHS, and it's those sort of things that we have a good feeling about as a team, that we are making a difference to patients' lives, because every healthcare system in the world has its own attractive property. Like, I say Ireland's very good because you've got great low corporation tax and companies are drawn into Ireland, but that whole balance of which countries do you go to which have all the right ingredients, business-friendly environments, R&D tax credits, which we offer, maybe not as competitive as Ireland, but the other factors around how do you get a product into a healthcare system to solve a problem, because we say sell the problem you solve, not the product. And to be able to sell the problem you solve in a healthcare system, you need to know what's going on in it, how patients are managed, what the profile of those patients are, what that care episode looks like in terms of admission, treatments, length of stay, time in intensive care, readmissions. We look at this data over a period of time, and that gives us a really good insight into how that technology would solve a problem. So it's about solving the problem in the healthcare system, selling the problem you solve, and then interacting with a healthcare system that isn't a multi-payer system, which we have. The NHS, the National Health Service, is a single Europe's largest single healthcare payer system. So we offer a far easier to interact, a far easier single system to run through with a reasonable population size as well. So yeah, the balances of all those things help us to attract companies in. But it is hard. I mean, I was last week in AdvaMed conference in Los Angeles, and companies are starting to say, well, why should we come to the UK? Why should we go here? Why should we? We want to focus on the US market, which is great, but to actually increase the valuation of these companies, they need to have they need to show that they can sell outside the US, and we think the UK is a good place to look.
It's a good market, and no better company than yourselves, who have the contract in terms to be able to use the big data that the NHS has in order to be able to effectively work with these new companies to showcase them. That's one of your
It is. I mean, it comes down to this, what's known as PICO, which stands for PICO, Population, Intervention, Comparator and Outcome. So the population is understanding who in the healthcare system would benefit. And that can be down to, let's say heart failure, but a heart failure patient with other comorbidities, or looking at a younger heart failure patient to sort of say, well, these people are going to live longer, so the healthcare system is going to be under more burden for many more years. And then you work and calculate the health economics around that. So population is important, understanding who would benefit, understanding what the new technology does, which is the I part of PICO, which is the intervention, understanding the C, which is the comparator. How are these patients managed today? Where are they treated? How are they treated? How long are they treated for? How good is that standard of care? And then the outcome benefits is about what are the outcome benefits to the patient, to the provider of care, to the payer of care, and to the company. They need to have a device they're going to make good money at, and they can carry on and develop and grow their businesses. So the outcome part of the story is about really making sure that the companies are selling their product at the right price to hit the biggest population that benefits the most, and making sure that they can survive long term, and so pricing is really important. That's another part of the work that we do.
Great. And you've helped many new companies or new technologies enter into the NHS. Any stars? Any particular star products?
Yeah, I mean, we're very proud of the work we've done in organ transplant work, where patients used to have their hearts thrown into ice buckets and, donated hearts in ice buckets. That was some of the earlier work we did. But, more recently, a lot of work in prostate. So prostate treatments, particularly benign prostate treatments, led men with lots of complications and long-term issues. We've brought in new treatments that enabled patients to be treated faster. We've done a lot of work in sinuses. We've done lots of work recently with CardioMobile, which is a device that can detect arrhythmias for cardiac patients. So lots of things, and it's been a really interesting journey. It's not anything like as easy as it was, with certainly the current challenges around funding in terms of investment. The difference is what the European Union has done in terms of making it harder to get regulatory approval has been highly damaging, I think, and concerning. But yeah, I mean, the world is open, and companies can choose to go to different places. So it's helping to match those and show that these companies could make a difference to patients' lives in our healthcare system.
Awesome. I hope you find what you need and your new partners here. You're here in Malta. Has it been a place that you've done business before?
No, I've never been here before. So it's quite an interesting place, and it's been a great venue and well organised. There's some nice companies to see here, and starting today, just starting to meet companies and understand what they have, and give them some advice in terms of what they may want to look at in the future. In terms of, I mean, we're doing a panel on the biggest mistakes MedTech companies make, and it's helping them to understand that we've had a lot of experience in looking at companies that have made the wrong choices, done the wrong studies, for example. The two big areas are not doing the right evidence to match the claims on their website, and the other thing is pricing. These companies seem to think that healthcare systems will buy products if they're cheaper, but they only focus on the provider of care, the hospital, where some chronic conditions last such a long time that they're not really optimizing their selling price. So optimization of selling price, but maximizing the access of the technology to the patients that need it the most. And it's that whole balance of price. So it's a very scientific thing, market access, and we define it as demonstration of benefits to patients, benefits to care providers, benefits to payers, and benefits to the company that are making the product. And that's a science, and it's very different to marketing, which is product price-based promotion. That's how you sell sausages to supermarkets. We're talking about complex technologies that will make a difference in people's lives for many of their years ahead, and having better outcomes. So it's a great industry to be involved in. More challenging than ever before now, and but this gives us an opportunity to meet those companies and meet people like yourself that are interested in what we do. So appreciate that.
Michael Branagan Harris, thank you for talking with me.
You're welcome.
Hope you have a great event.